I don't need no man.
Hey there, good man fam. Now, this is part two of the four-part series, This African Female to Your Left, made on the Passport Bros. If you haven't watched part one yet, then check the link in the description. Watch that video first, then come back and watch this one. For everybody else, let's continue the breakdown.
This is part two. So if you go to any of these third world countries to try and find a wife and bring that wife to America, you are going to create the exact same woman that you created here if you don't know how to adopt the behavior of those men. There's a reason these women are the way that they are. You have to look at how their men treat them. There's a reason they are submissive. There's a reason they don't have a problem staying at home and raising kids. There's a reason why they are submissive to their husbands.
First of all, she just blamed men for creating these modern females. Okay, that's true. However, the important part of that is in the nuance of the word creation. And based on her last video, I don't think her reasoning and my reasoning regarding that quote unquote creation line up at all. And she kept saying that there's a reason why African females do all of the things about which American men complain modern females in the US do not do. Let's see if she puts any context behind these bold statements.
But if you go to a third world country and bring this woman in your country and still continue the behavior and the attitude that you had towards your women to her, you are gonna run her out. Most likely, if you go to a country anyway, just looking for a wife because they are better than the wife in your country, you are the problem. You are toxic, and most likely you are a predator.
See what I'm saying? I say that men created these modern females because they kept giving them everything for nothing, which made them unjustifiably entitled. But she started off seemingly alluding to men having an undesirable attitude, which would allegedly scare off African quote unquote women. The funny thing about her statement is that, depending on how it's perceived, she could be 100% correct because the attitude men had of giving a female everything for nothing turns females off. However, is that a bad attitude to have in general? Technically, no. In general, being a nice and giving person is great, yeah. But it's a terrible way to be when it comes to intersexual dynamics from the male side. See how the nuance of all of this can make her statement a little bit tricky? Then she said, if you go to another country just looking for a wife because they're better than the females in your country, then you're more than likely the problem, toxic, and a predator. Good grief. Dude, tell me one person in the world who doesn't want better of everything. Exactly. So I've got a question for you. What if I went from one state to another here in the US because I felt like the females in another state were better? Am I the problem then? Am I toxic? Am I a predator simply for traveling across state lines? If not, then what the heck makes a person a predator for seeking out a mutually beneficial international situation relationship wise? What? Is there some international predator border about which we don't know or something? Why is she acting like culture doesn't matter? Heck, does she even know the culture of these unjustifiably entitled modern females over here? But the passport bros are supposedly the problem because they want to find overseas the reciprocation that they're not getting here in the States, huh? Man, she really doesn't understand how dumb she sounds. Let's continue.
Because that means you are not a man enough to learn how to control your women. And when I say control your women, you don't know how to use non-manipulative tactics to get what you want from a woman. Probably can't have a conversation, probably don't want to hear that you have to reason with the person. I don't know, but all I'm saying is, if you go to a different country with the sole purpose of trying to find a husband, a wife, you are a red flag to me and to most African women.
Not man enough, huh? Tell me, good man fam, how many shaming tactics do you think she's going to end up using in this video? Put the number in the comment section. And why do men have to use tactics to get what a female should already be trained to give freely? Why is it that everything is about prying the most basic ish from modern females' cold, heartless hands? Men are done with that bullcrap and don't give a rat's tail about your red flags. We aren't checking for the likes of females with these type of always the victim thought processes anyway. By the way, did you all hear her actually spit some truth in there? The most truthful thing she said was, quote unquote, I don't know. Yes, we know you don't know, ma'am, because your lips are moving and spewing nonsense.
Look at American African women, most likely they date African men. Why? Not because there isn't like a good African American brothers, or there's not. There's a lot of great African American brothers, but I'm talking specifically with African like the passport bros. Most African, even African American women are now looking at dating African men. Why? Because they already understand the assignment. They don't need to make podcasts about, oh, we need a submissive wife, because they know what it takes to get and keep a woman submissive and good. And I'm not talking about control. I'm not talking about bashing, talking down. I'm not talking about any of that.
Firstly, no. African American modern females are not looking to date African men. These modern females over here know that the best treatment they will ever get will be from an American man. And that's because American males are trained to tolerate their bullcrap. International men don't. See, that's why y'all act right over there, because they'll slap the taste out of y'all mouths if you don't. Now, I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying what it is. So technically, she's right that the reason African women act the way they do is because of their men. Oh, and men aren't making podcasts because they need a submissive wife. Men are making podcasts because they realize that hundreds of millions of men are having the same selfish, unjustifiably entitled issues with modern females around the world. So they decided to share notes. And since the messages are for men, that's a huge reason why you don't know what the freak you're talking about when it comes to Passport Bros and podcasts in the manosphere. And stop with this conditionally submissive bullcrap too.
So you need to change your attitude towards women. You need to change your attitude. You need to first learn, like these men that are passport bros, they need to sit down in their country and learn what it takes to be a husband, what it takes really to be a leader in the home, and then start treating their women in the most respectful way, like they are queens, like the way that African men treat their women. I have never seen a toxic culture like African American men. Again, not all of them. The way that they talk about their women, it shocks me.
So, your assessment of Passport Bros is that they're the problem, they're toxic, they're predators, and they don't know what it takes to be husbands? Ma'am, the level of cluelessness in you regarding this subject matter is freaking astounding. Why are you even speaking on something on which you have virtually no correct information? You're just making up relationship math in your head, aren't you? Just threw away quadratic equations and made up quad relationship equations, huh? Yeah, exactly like I just made up that word. And the problem with being the leader in the home is that these modern females are fighting men for that position. Oh, wait, you didn't know that? Yeah. So, with your lack of knowledge on the subject matter, you want men to treat these modern females, quote unquote, in the most respectful way, like they are queens, while they're constantly spitting in men's faces and fighting them for the king's scepter? Get the entire freak out of here. We're not rewarding bad behavior. That's why Passport Bros are going over there. And the reason you've never seen a toxic culture like the one you claim is American men, which it's not, is because American modern females have been allowed to bash and disrespect American men for dang near half a century with virtually no backlash, which ties back to men allowing that bullcrap to happen. But guess what? Those days are over. And now the men are pushing back, they're toxic. Ma'am, you need some better source material because the ones you currently have got you out here looking hella uneducated in the subject matter. I'm just saying. So, good man fam, this is the second of the 4 videos she made about passport bros. What do y'all think? Is she a traditional woman, a modern woman, or a modern female? I'll be reviewing her 3rd and 4th video soon, so put your answers in the comment section and don't forget to like the video and, if you're not already, subscribe. Let's get it.